Here we are in the car on our way to Traverse City, Mission Point Peninsula. My mom's driving.
Hi.
We're in a good mood. So, what I wanted to talk about is midlife crises. Did you ever have one?
Yeah, I think midlife crisis is really interesting topic. Brendan just spent some time really breaking down why people have midlife crisis and what it's about. And his opinion is that it's really overwhelmed. And his point of view, and I'm sorry I look so shabby.
You look great. You look great,
I
Mom.
look shabby. Anyway,
my 6 o'clock shadow.
So can I tell you what Brendan thinks about it?
I won't show you if you're going to do that.
Okay, I'll be normal. Anyway, so what he says is it's overwhelmed. And so what he says people do prior to their midlife crisis, they try to balance so much. They try to get so much done. They give themselves unrealistic deadlines. They give themselves, let's say by 40, I'm going to be a millionaire, or by 40, I'm going to have a wife, 2 kids, a 2-car garage, all of those pressure points. And, I'm going to own my own company. And you just set up all these unrealistic demands. And when the clock is ticking and you get a little bit closer to that deadline, whether it's 40 years old or whatever you put in your head, you realize that you're running out of time and you just get super overwhelmed. That's what he says.
So it's a sense of unmet expectations.
Yeah, and that, okay, so it's basically, and forgive my French, F it, just F it. I'm going to do what I want to do.
You can swear on YouTube.
Okay, so he says, fuck it. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to go out and buy that red sports car. I'm going to go out and have an affair. I'm going to go out with that, little chickie poo, if you're a man. Or I'm going to, take that trip and forget everybody else. Kind of get a little bit, just a little bit, don't worry about the consequences. And sometimes there are big consequences. You end up losing your family, you lose your job, you spend too much money. It can be devastating, and it really can set people back.
I'm remembering you're my age, and I think you kind of had a realization that you were living in an unhappy situation as your midlife crisis.
Yes.
And you wanted to be happier.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So you got divorced, and what did you do?
So, when I was very much like Brendan described it. I had been kind of putting up with a lot of things that weren't fulfilling, whether it was my marriage, my work. I was doing a lot of overcompensating for a lot of problems. My claim to fame at that time was expect nothing, and if you get something, you will be happy. You'll be surprised. So
because you shook up your business too at the same time.
I did. I shook up my business. I shook up my marriage. But I have to say that also the reason I was stuck for so long is that I was Catholic, and even though my first husband was amazing, we just grew apart because people grow at different ways, and I was growing, from a corporate perspective or from a, professional perspective, and he was growing in different ways. He was enjoying hunting and the outdoors, and we just grew apart. And he's an amazing person, one of the nicest, greatest people I've ever met in my life. He's an excellent, excellent person, my ex-husband, Dave Welliver, but we grew apart, and because I was Catholic, I was reluctant to do anything about it. when I first realized it. And I think I first realized it like after we had been married 7 years. But I did not get divorced until 21 years. And so, I kind of had a realization when I hit, like, I think I was 42.
I had a realization about church today. We tried going to church night. I freaked out. I didn't want to go there. Freaked out is the wrong term, but I felt really like a fish out of water, and I felt like if we weren't there, everyone else would be more comfortable, which is probably not true, but at the same time, I just feel like I felt like there's no one there my age, and if they were my age, they were a lot so different from me that I just knew that they would never understand me, and they would never, and maybe that's wrong, but I just felt like I would never be understood by those people ever. Like, they have no context to my life, and so I was afraid of judgment.
Yeah, isolation.
Because
it's never good.
I just felt like, and that's another thing is like, I love tarot cards, and I love helping people, because you do see things in the cards that are like, almost every time I read it for somebody on the internet, they say, oh wow, yeah, that's true. And I don't do generalities. I'm very brave with my tarot readings, and I, like the other day, I said something like, something about spilling secrets, and they're like, that's so true. I was just terrified of that. And the tarot cards are called witchcraft by Catholic Church. And another thing is, I love Jesus, but I don't think that when he said salt of the earth, that was who he meant, was who was there. Another thing is these near-death experiences and the experiences I've had with memories of past lives. I don't think the church agrees with that. And I just feel like I'm too new. I'm like following Jesus and making the old things new, and they're making the old things even older, you know. And it breaks my heart a little bit. Like, I kind of freaked out. There's that term again, but I freaked out again at the office when I was like, who are you? Who are you? When I was trying to make a video, and I was like, are you Brian? And that's kind of me looking at the mirror and not recognizing it. Like, if you saw pictures of my old self, I've been a chameleon over the years, and I've always felt like a fish out of water. And it's I think another part of my midlife crisis is realizing truths that have always been there, like how you were saying you realize the truth about your marriage. Is like, you realize some things are just always going to be the same.
Right.
And what you thought was temporary is actually a deep part of yourself, you know?
Yeah, that's very profound. Very, very profound. I think that my perspective on church is a little different, but I'm older and have a lot more, miles under my belt. But I go to church for me and God, and to find that holy, like, feeling, that sacred feeling that's between me and God. And that's the thing there are a lot I like about the Catholic Church, and that's one of the things I do like, is no matter where you go in the world, the Catholic Church, when you walk into Mass, it's so familiar. And I've been to Mass in a lot of different places, whether it's in the United States or even in Ireland, in England, in other countries. You walk into a Catholic church and Mass is pretty much the same, and that keeps me I feel at home because of Mass and because of the ritual of Mass and the bond that I have.
See, I don't feel at home. Like, I was there yesterday.
You were?
For confession.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And Dad dropped me off at like 12:15 and confession's at 3.
Oh,
and I was, and at around 1:30, I was sick of
Why did you go so early?
Because I wanted to be, like you say, with Jesus and everything.
Okay.
But because there is such a thing as Eucharistic adoration, where you can go anytime and just be with the Lord.
That's nice.
But I was there about an hour and a half, and it was kind of hot and muggy inside, so I wanted to go out in the breeze.
Yeah.
So I went out and laid underneath the tree, and after about 45 minutes, the priest came out and was like, "What are you doing?" And and then
Father Michael.
Yeah, Father Michael, and I explained, like, I'm here for confession later. And as soon as I said that, he's like backing away. He's like, "Oh, okay, that's fine." But I went back inside, and this one guy who's always there on Saturdays, rearranging all the
books,
vinegar and wine and everything. Okay. He was kind of like just glaring at me and bumping around because I guess he didn't want me there laying on the grass. And I would like, I told you this before, I would like my place of worship to welcome people laying on the grass and not care, and come out and say, "Hey, can I sit with you?" Not come out and say, "Hey, what are you doing here?"
Yeah, it's important to feel welcome.
And how much is what I do is reaction, like a negative reaction? When you have a reaction to something, you think of the positive, and that's from years of training yourself.
Yeah, that's self-limiting beliefs, and it's the mantra that you say in your brain. And believe me, Brian, every single morning when I wake up, I have low frequency in my heart and in my mind, and those negative thoughts permeate me, and they are devastating. So immediately when I get up, and you know this, I drink coffee, because that will elevate and create your frequency and make you more, your energy level will go up with caffeine, right? And that will bring up your frequency of your spirit because of the energy, because we are, flesh and bone and blood, and so we have to deal with the chemistry of our body. So I add to the chemistry of my body to elevate my mood. And then so there's a biological aspect of energy. The other thing I do is I constantly feed mantras into my mind. And the mantra I use more than ever is, "I love Jesus and Jesus loves me." Another one I use is the one my dad always taught me, and that is, "You are as good as the best and better than the rest." I say that in my brain a lot. You're as good as the best and better than the rest. And I remember when I told Dave Haar that, he thought it was very egotistical. And I'm like, no, I have to get rid of all these negative, terrible vibrations that are coming at me. And so what I do is I also say other mantras that everybody knows, like, what's that one from Emile Coué, the Frenchman? Every day in every way, I'm getting better and better is another mantra that I really love. Another one is, "It's all good, it's all God." And this is a long one, but it's it's a Tony Robbins. He said, at last, the past is past. I've broken free and won. And now it's time to love myself and really have some fun. A whole new world is on the rise for all of you to see. Yes, I'm the one. Yes, I'm the one. Take a good look at me. That's Tony's. So there's a lot of mantras, and when our brains can only do one thing at a time. They can only think one thing at a time. And so by putting all of those good mantras in your brain, and if you do it long enough, you forget all of that other crap that was like trying to get in your brain. So,
okay, can I say something now?
Yeah.
This is why I think women have the potential to be achievers more than men, And maybe it's just because I'm biased because I come from a family of achieving women and comfortable men. And I want to say this: men and women have the same negative vibrations, problems, but men want to be comfortable and women want to be better. Women want to achieve something, whereas a man just wants, his achievement is comfort. And so, like, my problem is, compared to my mother, is when I have a negative, like, spat, is like, well, how can I get back to my comfort level? And when mom has a negative spat, she's like, well, how can I achieve something even better than comfort somehow? Do you agree with that?
I really want to feel better too. I definitely want to feel better.
You want to be comfortable.
I want to feel better, which is different. Comfort is like, to me, comfort is like warm, fuzzy. But I want to feel better, and I guess that's what you mean by achievement. I just want to, okay, here I am feeling crappy. I want to feel better. How do I feel better?
Do you think it's competitiveness that men in our family lack, or
I think
do you think it's
just thinking?
It's like our comfort level is lower than it should be.
I don't know why. I'm not a man, so I don't know. But I do know that Brian Tracy always says, think about your goals. Think about your goals. Because if you think about your goals, your brain will give you the next thing to achieve it. So if you're thinking, hey, I want to get comfortable, it might, for me, if I had the thought of comfort, I would go lay down. Because comfort for me is laying down and closing my eyes and being kind of being peaceful. But that's not better for me. I want to do something. I want to have fun. I want to go have fun, do stuff.
You want to have fun.
I want to have fun. So that's,
girls just want to have fun.
I want to have fun. That's what I want to have fun. So how I can't have fun. Comfort is something for me at the end of the day. That's like after 5, 6 o'clock at night, I'm comfort. I'm like, no, thank you. I don't want to go get ice cream. I don't want to go anywhere. I'm ready for my comfort, my relaxation, chill. But up until then, I'm all for it. Let's go.
Wow. With that, I'll just end it with a few words of what I've learned today. It's like, I would really love to lose 230 pounds or so that I need to lose. And I would like to brush my teeth and floss more. I brush my teeth pretty often, but I don't floss enough. What else would I like? I would like a routine where that was possible. Like that's what I've failed at in the past, is having a routine of that. But to be fair, my mental health needs to be stronger first. And these last few days, I have been stronger. Like yesterday, I didn't smoke at all at the church yesterday when I was there for 3 hours, and and that took some mental discipline to be able to do that.
That's a lot.
I just noticed nobody else smokes there, and I'm sure it's because it's both rarer these days, and also because people respect the area. But I just feel like the spiritual world that you learn through near-death experiences, and that I've come into contact with my breaches and blowing my mind with new thoughts when I go crazy, is like a lot of the stuff is comparable to each other. Like, I mean, maybe more personalized or internalized when I have it as a crazy thought, but the near-death.
I want to make a point about your tarot reading.
Oh, okay.
Yesterday, I was listening to a podcast by Next Level Soul. It's a YouTube video podcast thing. And he had a guest on. Alex is the host. And Alex had a guest on. And it wasn't yesterday's it was like a couple of weeks ago. This is what I just saw yesterday. And it was a woman who's never really had a near-death experience, but she was always afraid of dying. And so she has done, and she's probably my age or a little younger, and said she wanted to understand, and she's Catholic, so she felt like you feel, Brian, that experimenting with anything other than the rigid Catholic doctrine and dogma is like sinning. And so she would do like experiment, learn a little bit about tarot without anybody knowing it, or and then she got involved in recordings of dead people. So like she has and is good at so what they do is they set up a tape recorder, and you ask a question to the tape, like the spirits are with you all the time. Like my friend Michelle is with me all the time. Jordan is with me from time to time. These are people I know that have died. My mom is with me. My dad's with me more than anybody. He's always with me, never leaves me. And so I know these entities. They're right here with us. Anyway, what she did is she set up a microphone and a tape recorder, and she does this for people who are grieving, and she's recorded. She can record across the veil, basically. She's really gifted in this. But the thing that I wanted to bring up is that when she was first learning how to do tarot and all those things, she went to her first class on how to do it, and they told her, there were probably 12 or 15 people in the class for tarot, learn how to be a psychic kind of class, and they had everybody pair up into groups of 2, and then they said, okay, pretend that you're doing a reading for this person. Just pretend. This isn't going to be the real thing. Just pretend. So they were having fun with it, and so they were like, so she did. She sat down with this person, and all of a sudden she was pretending, and like when you're a child and you're pretending, you just come up with these ideas like names of your, fictitious friends, and you come up with these crazy like ideas immediately, like off the cuff. And she got done with her little game and her playtime, and she looked up and her partner was crying because she said everything, the name, the description, whatever, was exactly what this other person resonated with this other person. So I just thought I would share that with you, Brian.
Thank you. I maybe last year or the year before I started tarot, and I got a deck of cards, and I started reading with a generator online. I went to divination. I didn't even ask for a reading. I was just like, I'll give you readings. I didn't know what the cards meant or anything. I didn't know that wands were like career and passion and fire, and I didn't know cups was water, and I didn't know swords was intellect and ideas. I didn't know any of that. But I just started reading, and I was like, yeah, this card looks like that, so I'm just gonna say this. And even that, it was even only major arcana that was the deck I was reading, and they were always upright because it was an online generator. And then I did that for a night, and then I got a deck of cards answered. But I was so good that they made me the administrator of the Discord.
Wow.
For
amazing.
tarot.
Yeah.
I went crazy and
yeah, that's okay. Caitlin's really good at it too. We're all very psychic.
I've done quite a few readings. I was reading it for a group yesterday. But with that, I'll leave it. It's at 25 minutes, so I'll put it down. Okay.